Hello, and welcome to the Lean Management course, A Key to Success. And my name is Andrew Krueger. Just to give a little background on myself, again, my name is Andrew Krueger. I am a United States Navy veteran. I worked on search and rescue helicopters for 4 years, in which I maintain all the electrical and electronic systems. After my service, I received a Bachelor of Science in Electronic Engineering Technology and a Master of Science in Engineering Management from Eastern Michigan University. I currently work as a field service lead for a company called Daktronics Incorporated, where we oversee all of the service conducted in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania regarding to LED display systems. In efforts to streamline field service and manufacturing within Daktronics, I have developed this online class to educate young engineers in the history and benefits of implementing a lean system in a company or in your workplace. With just a course overview here, with the rise in manufacturing, a competitive global industry, and economic downturns, many companies are striving to stay afloat. There is an abundance of competition as competitors' costs decrease and jobs being brought overseas. By implementing a lean system and the continuous improvement of lean can help a company survive by eliminating waste, increase productivity, and decrease costs. In this online training program, I will provide a history of lean, how to implement it in the workplace, and how we can continually improve this process. The learning objectives. After this course, you will be able to understand lean thinking and how it can improve processes. You'll understand common lean terms. You'll be able to describe the tools and techniques for a lean management system and apply lean in the workplace, as well as recognize strengths and limitations of a lean system, identify areas of waste in the workplace, and how to develop a lean management system. Just starting off here, what is lean? Lean characterizes all activities as either value-added or non-value-added. The focus is on eliminating non-value-added activities. It is also a way to eliminate waste. It as well focuses on flow and value stream. Continued, lean is a method that improves processes through continuous improvement, and it also makes the flow of value easier to see. The executive summary is ultimately what lean yields in an organization is it improves customer service, increases capacity without the addition of people, equipment, or office and or production space. The desire of most organizations with lean to grow services and revenue annually without adding additional resources. History of lean. The earliest examples known were in the early 1100s as Venetian arsenal built naval vessels for the Venetian Navy. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, Eli Whitney and Eli Terry contributed to the production of interchangeable parts for mass production. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, Frederick Taylor was known for scientific management, time study, work standards, and documentation of processes. Continued, we all know Henry Ford adopted the mass production line in the early 1900s. In the mid-1900s, Krueger Toyota adopted the Toyota production system, focusing on lean manufacturing and designing out of waste. With the history being brought to us, we can now continue on and learning lean management systems. The lean methodology. Lean contains many tools and requires a significant change in thinking by all employees to be successful. Continuous improvement is required by all involved, and that is a key word, continuous improvement, that you will see throughout this training session. Using the foundational tools of lean, which consist of identifying and eliminating waste, creating a safe, clean, highly efficient workplace through 5S, which we will learn later on, implementing standard work for all processes to share best practices and sustain improvements. Continued on here with lean methodology, there are many additional tools within the lean methodology, and those entail value stream mapping, 5S, the 3 Ps, JIT, just in time, Kaizen, Kanban, and then now moving on to the principles of lean. Define value. Specify value from the standpoint of the end user by the product family. Identify the value stream. Identify all the steps in the value stream and eliminating all steps that do not create value. And finally, make the process flow. Make value created steps that occur in a tight sequence so the product will flow smoothly. Next, pull from the customer, which is make only what the customer has ordered. Head towards perfection. Continue to reach a state of perfection in all processes with eliminating waste. Eliminate bottlenecks, which is removing obstacles that disrupt the value flow. And finally, you guessed it, continuous improvement, which is empowering the employees in the process through teaming and striving to continually improve. The goals of lean: improve quality, understand customers' wants and needs, and design processes to meet their expectations and requirements. Eliminate waste. Eliminate anything that does not add value to the product and or service. Reduce time. Reduce the time it takes to finish an activity to eliminate waste and lower costs. Continued on, reduce total cost. Produce only to a customer demand by eliminating overproduction, which leads to increased storage costs. What is value? Now, we've talked about this quite a bit on non-value and value-added items, and now we're going to get to the definitions here. What is value? Value is a capability provided to the customer at an appropriate price defined by the market. It is also known as the importance, worth, or usefulness of something that is defined by the customer. Examples of value defined by a customer can be cost, quality, or delivery. Value-added activities, which consists of transforming materials and information into products and services the customer wants. Some of the examples of value-added activities consist of receiving a PO, purchase order, painting, designing, programming, stamping, as well as many others. Non-value activities are operations that consume resources but do not transform the product or service. Some of the examples may include a rework, waiting, re-entering information, inspections, or testing. Waste. What is waste? Anything that does not add value on a customer standpoint, non-value added activity. Activity that consumes resources, which resources can be time, money, material. Adds costs, but does not create value. Waste is eliminated by employing simple principles and tools which have been practiced and improved for many years. There are 7 forms of waste, which we have used the acronym TIMWOOD to help you memorize this. And TIMWOOD would stand for T, transportation, I for inventory, M for motion, W for waiting, O for overproduction, O for overprocessing, and D for defects. And now we'll get into explaining all the examples of the 7 forms of waste, also known as the acronym TIMWOOD. T, transportation, which this consists of transportation wastes that occur when the materials are moved from one place to another. If there is a big transportation from one part, say for example one part that gets manufactured and then it needs to be set to another process, and that's in a completely different building. That time that it takes from that one part to get to another building, that time frame in between there would be considered transportation waste. Inventory, which consists of raw material, work in process, and finished goods that are all non-value added. And this is sort of the key to lean management in the manufacturing, is to keep inventory down and to keep a lean system. Motion. Any movement of a person's body that does not add value is wasted motion. So that can kind of be correlated with the transportation as well. It kind of depends what you're doing. If somebody's taking an extra step into doing a process that is creating more time and eating up more resources, that would be the waste of motion. Waiting. Waiting occurs when a person or machine must wait to do needed work. Therefore, in the manufacturing industry, waiting on one part to be finished, so they may change out a certain die or a different tool in order to use that machine. There's many ways of either eliminating that or maybe having an employee working on something else while they're waiting on that. That all kind of depends on the process and the company. Overproduction. Producing a product before the customer wants it, or to produce more product than the customer ordered, which would result in inventory as well. So there you can kind of see at this point that a lot of these wastes do kind of correlate with each other. And to our next slide, overprocessing. Any operation that the customer does not pay for or doing more than the customer specification. Sometimes doing more than the customer wants isn't necessarily a good thing and can produce waste. And finally, defects. Any operation that produces scrap or rework that produces a defect. And that is the 7 wastes. Moving on is one of the more helpful tools of lean management and lean systems is 5S. What is 5S? 5S is a process to create and maintain a clean, visually organized, high-performance workplace. It requires involvement, creativity, and commitment of the people who work in the area. It also increases safety, quality, productivity, and control over workplace. And here are the 5 S's. 5 S's are sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. Next, we are going to define each 5S. And sort. Sort involves removing unnecessary items from the area and organizing. So as you can see in the picture here on the before, everything's sort of messy and unorganized, and you can understand that a worker might have a hard time trying to find tools and or material. So in the after picture, this is kind of what would we be going for? Everything sort of organized and not scattered about. Set in order. Find the best location for items that are used in that area. As you can see, one a good example would be the tools here, making a silhouette of where they're supposed to be. So a worker will always know exactly where all their tools are. Next one is shine. Clean everything. Keep it clean and use cleanliness to determine area or equipment defects. So not only keeping the area and or equipment clean, not only helps with organization and everything like that, but it can also reduce defects on equipment. As you may know, whatever piece of equipment, when equipment is dirty, it can cause problems, can cause issues. And standardize. This is to create ways to make sure that it's obvious, even to someone who doesn't work in this area, where things go and when things need to be ordered / refilled, etc. So this is more of like a template scenario standardization. So that way it's not in someone else's own language. It's something that can be seen by anybody that may walk in there. Anybody that may take somebody's place. If somebody were to move up in the company or move out of the company, the next person in line might be able to slide in there and understand all the processes that are involved. Sustain. Staying disciplined and maintaining 5S standards. So once everything's in place, it's just keeping on that with continuous improvement. Again, the key word, and just continuous practice of that. You know, try not to deviate from, you know, everything and all the hard work that was put into place. So you want to continue, train new employees, and just maintain that. Now, originally, it was started out with 5S. So 5S, you know, can be broken off into sort of two categories. So the first three, sort, set in order, and shine, they can all fall under the category of housekeeping and organization. Next category, expectations, habits, and accountability, would fall under, you know, standardize and sustain would fall under that category. You know, like I said, expectations, habits, oh, sorry about that. Expectations, habits, and accountability, you know, as I was just saying, was, you know, the sustain. You know, you want to continue to utilize what you've learned and what you've set up. So habit, you want to make it a habit, a regular habit. I mean, you know, change is hard in an organization. However, when you make it an everyday routine, it'll eventually become natural. So moving on. Additional S's. You know, originally it was set up for 5S, and then they did make room for additional S's. So obviously the next one would be, an additional one would be safety, which is very important. Safety, reviewing every action in each area to ensure that nothing has been overlooked that may cause any potential hazards. So going back to the first one, order, you know, set in order, you know, a lot of that will sort of promote and help with safety. Having everything organized, clean, not messy, you know, that promotes good safety in a workplace. Okay, value stream mapping. Value stream mapping is a very important part for lean management and lean systems. So what is value stream mapping? Value stream mapping is a lean technique used to document, analyze, and improve the flow of information or materials required to produce a product or service for a customer. It defines value from the customer's perspective. It provides visibility of the entire process. And it is a plan that helps you get from the current state to the future state. So just in the you know, in the term itself, value stream mapping, it's providing a map of where you are and where you want to be and how you need to get there. Value stream process. So now we're going to explain that process involved in the value stream mapping. So like I mentioned, you have, you know, it's just like a map where you are and where you intend to go, and every spot in between is the process that we're going to be discussing right now. The first one is prepare, which entails gathering and preparing all of your information. Set your logistics. The next one would be gather data and develop current state, which involves map the flow of items and information. Number 3, develop future state and action plan, which involves discussing the ideal state and developing the future state to achieve, and developing an action plan, what you want to do, what your goals are. Continued here, number 4, executive plan, which involves achieving objectives and implement improvements. Align is the last one, which involved review implementations and results, as well as continuous improvements and updates. Just can't get away from that continuous improvement. Right here is a drawing of an example of value stream mapping. So basically what you have here is, let me just bring this up. So basically what you have here is you have a production control. Basically, let's say, upper management. So you can kind of see here on the value stream map sort of the order of flow on how everything goes with the process. That involves the total lead time, straight from the supplier to the transportation truck drivers, and then all the way back to the customer. So, value stream mapping, as discussed before, is where you are, where you want to be, and the processes that are involved to get there, and what your final goal is. So moving on with the next tool here in Lean Systems Management is just-in-time. What is just-in-time? JIT. It involves supplying customers with exactly what they want when they want it. It also supplies and components are pulled through a system to arrive where they are needed when they are needed. So basically, to break that down is, say you are a tire manufacturer. You are only going to create tires based on what the customer wants. If you don't follow just-in-time, say you're going to go ahead and create 1,000 tires, and then ends up the customer only wants 500 tires. So from there, you're stuck with 500 tires, and you have to find out what to do with those tires, where to put that inventory, which costs money and is actually a waste. So next, we're moving on to the 3 Ps, the 3 pillars of Lean. The first one is purpose. Purpose. What problems would the organization solve to achieve its own purpose of prospering? The next one, process. How the organization will assess each major value stream to make sure each step is valuable, capable, available, and adequate. The next, people. How everyone involved can be actively engaged in the process and continuously improving it. And those are the 3 pillars of Lean. The next definition here is Kaizen. Kaizen is a definition that basically means continuous improvement. It's a strategy where employees work together to regularly achieve improvements. So it's a term that was coined by Japanese auto manufacturing So it's basically just a term that helps you grow to improvement processes and continuously think what you can do to improve and grow as a company or grow in the process. Examples of Kaizen are PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. Plan, develop hypothesis. Do, run experiment. Check, evaluate results. Act, refine experiment and start a new cycle. Kanban is another Japanese term that was coined by I believe Toyota Manufacturing, and Kanban refers to the pull system. It also refers to the method of regulating the flow of goods within a factory and outside suppliers. It eliminates waste from inventory and overproduction. Next, what we're all here for is the overall goal is a lean management system. So what exactly is a lean management system? A lean management system deploys and sustains a lean production or fulfillment system. It allows for the education, application, and communication of lean activities. Without LMS or lean management system, lean implementation will fail. It is sustained by leaders who motivate employees and push for continual improvement. Now, there are 6 phases that we can implement in developing LMS, or Lean Management System. The first one of the phases is evaluate the methodology, which entails an assigned employee that studies the LMS methodology and tools to define applicability. So that would be really just implementing or assigning a leader in your company that is pretty much the go-to person for lean management. That's going to seek out the training material and everything like that. The next one here is define opportunities with the organization. This consists of the team quantifies the impact of the lean management system will have on the organization. So basically it's what's going to happen when we implement the LMS. What's going to happen? What are the expectations? What are we looking for? Third one here is develop the implementation plan. So that's a detailed project plan that will be developed and approved down the road. Number 4 is implement the plan. This transforms planning into profit, implementing the change. So this is where you're hitting it hard. Everything that you're planning and designing and setting your objectives and goals, and this is what you're moving towards right here. This is the wheels in motion, if you will. Number 5, measure the results. Finding out the real value of the process. So this is kind of this is the reality point, if you will. This is where you're looking at it, and you're seeing if everything you're implementing and putting into place is actually working out for you, and if you're making a profit or improving processes. And then the last one here, I'm sure you saw it coming, continuous improvement. The job is not done. There will always be ways to improve processes. There will always be different avenues that you can take. You know, when you're a company, you're not going to deal with just one customer. You're going to deal with new customers. You're going to have cultural changes, organization changes, competition in the market. So whether you like it or not, there's going to be changes which are going to involve improving processes or changing processes. Conclusion. So to conclude here, with lean management systems, implementing lean in an organization eliminates non-value added activities and makes the flow of value easier to see. So as we discussed, it shows you what your values are, what your your wastes are, and helps you define which ones those are, determine where your wastes are and all your non-value added activities are, and helps you locate those and helps you eliminate them, and gives you the steps and the tools in order to do that. Moving on, through such tools as value stream mapping, 5S, 3Ps, just-in-time, Kaizen, and Kanban are lean tools that can be achieved in an organization. So these are all the tools that we have discussed, and all the tools that can help you, improve those processes. Well, first implement the processes and implement lean management, as well as build on that and then improve. A lean management system allows for the education, application, and communication of lean activities through continuous maintenance and improvements. And then finally, just reiterating the continuous improvement, that without LMS, without a lean management system, a lean process or lean implementation will fail. There's no way around it. With that being said, you can't simply, a supervisor can't simply just say, here's what we need to do. We need to start being more lean. That's not possible. You can't just say we need to be more lean and we just make it happen. Sometimes it takes months or years for a company to be on board with lean systems. And then, as we talked about, there's continuous improvement. So therefore, even though they're on board with lean management and they're doing well and they're profitable, the job's not over. And therefore, management needs to really be on board with this in order for lean management or a lean system to succeed. It can't just be up to the employees. Management needs to be on board. They need to continuously look for training material improvements and check with their employees to ensure that they're doing what they should be doing. And that is the conclusion of our my presentation here. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you were able to fulfill the objectives that were laid out at the beginning of this presentation. and I hope that you can take what you've learned from this presentation and implement it in your workplace. So thank you very much for your time.